Sorry there was no video last week, but after my flu jab I lost my voice, and as you can hear it's only slowly coming back. In the first of a series of videos, I've been working closely with leading carbon credit schemes to document the decision process regarding trading carbon credits. This week I help explain and hopefully dismiss 3 of the most prominent myths about carbon credits. A detailed explanation of all 10 potential myths can be found in Direct Driller magazine issue 15, written by Andrew Boise of Soil Capital. So, without any further ado, here goes myth number 1.
The supply chain expects me to be net zero, so I shouldn't sell my carbon for offsets. Firstly, I certainly haven't received any specific requests to demonstrate I'm net zero from customers. When I supplied lamb to Sainsbury's, they asked for a carbon audit, and I understand Arla asked milk suppliers to undertake a carbon audit. But currently, carbon audits are the limit of obligations falling on farmers from the supply chain. Second, carbon is traded on an annual basis. Farmers who trade credits are positioned to adapt to this changing market. If a future supply chain makes demands on producers, then producers can respond the following year. Thirdly, if the supply chain is serious, it will need credibility. If you have previously been paid for improvements in the carbon storage within your soil profile, you will be well placed to insist that you are fairly compensated. Finally, in the UK, there is no scheme standard which enables full carbon offsetting, whereby companies can use carbon credits generated by farmers, i.e. the negative, to offset their own emissions, the positives. Soil Capital Carbon, for example, does not allow companies to offset their emissions if they have no supply chain relationship. A company can claim the right to talk about their support for a carbon improvement, so-called result-based claim, but not offset. While soil heroes, for example, are even keener on building a direct relationship between the supply chain looking to offset and the grower looking to trade credits. Myth 2. I should wait because the price will rise. It's certainly true the futures market expects the price of carbon to rise. Soil Capital Carbon contracts protect farmers from the potential downside risk and exposes growers to the potential upside opportunity. Carbon will only be sold if it generates a minimum farmer return of £23 per tonne. However, if the market rises, the grower will get a fixed percentage of 70% of the market value. Soil heroes are currently paying between £35 and £40 per tonne of carbon sequestered. If farmers are planting biodiversity lanes and margins, then they could receive more, but this is outside the carbon trading, and a farmer cannot receive this biodiversity payment if they are already receiving funding from a government scheme. The other really key point about I should wait for higher prices is that commentators are forgetting to tell farmers that they cannot be paid for carbon in the voluntary market forever. The natural limit on soil carbon sequestration is typically expressed as 20 years of consistently good practice. So, waiting eats into this runway or pipeline. It also reminds me of the small print in the Bayer system, where farmers are eligible for up to 5 years of historical payments, who can verify practices that occurred in that period. However, those who started using these techniques before 2012 are not eligible. I should wait because the market is still young. Quite right, the market is in the early stages of development. Those not comfortable with some level of risk should therefore be cautious. The challenge facing any scheme is balancing farmer flexibility with buyer confidence. Farming on the urban fringe, farmer flexibility is a real issue for me. Committing to either environmental schemes or carbon trading is not undertaken lightly. Like any new trading relationship, you need to understand your exit rights under your chosen provider's contract. Soil Capital Carbon objective is for farmers to be able to exit at any point without a fee, clawback or legal restriction. They deliver this by operating a buffer. 20% of certificates generated each year are set aside and not sold until 10 years later. If the farmer leaves the program, you forego those future earnings. Soil Heroes take a different approach. They calculate the impact payment yearly based on the changing price of carbon. Therefore, farmers receive an average and are less exposed to market volatility.
Thank you to Soil Capital and Soil Heroes for helping with the production of this video. Hopefully that goes some way to dispelling the myths around carbon credits. More to follow. Thank you very much, everybody. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.